back to another episode of Cooking with Clams. I'm Will, and I am aboard the Kingfisher.
Western Kingfisher.
The Western Kingfisher with Captain Jonny. And he made a big promise that he's guaranteeing we're catching all the fish today.
No, I didn't.
But we're gonna head out. We're gonna try for plaice, ling, pollock, mackerel, anything that bites the hook. We're bringing it up and over, and hopefully catch something to cook for you guys. But how long have you been doing this, Jonny?
40 years, I know.
40 years.
30.
So you're 35 years old.
Yes.
Perfect.
In my mind.
And we are on the west coast of Ireland. Where specifically?
Cleggan, County Galway.
All right, Cleggan, County Galway, on the west coast of Ireland. Out of my mom, my sister, and my brother, it's just me out. But hopefully we get some fish on. See you soon. This is actually my second time to Ireland, and I always prepare for gray, dismal weather, but man, I don't know if I'm just lucky or what it is. But this is not the gray, dismal Ireland I always see. I think I'm just lucky. Well, no fish at the first spot, but that's fishing. They went out earlier this morning and they said that it was pretty slow, so we will see. But they got a couple of fish on the boat. Worst case scenario, I'll grab one of those fish. But that was only the first spot. On to the next.
Wow! Look! He does know what he's at.
Alright, Captain Johnny's in. We'll go look at those fish. Alright, Jonny, tell me what you got. Pollock, and what size they gotta be, and
He's legal. He's a white pollock.
white pollock.
That's a black pollock.
And a black, hey,
Otherwise known as coley.
Coley.
Yay!
Alright, so Captain Johnny's on. The rest of us, not yet, but not yet. Captain Johnny's in again. We got a mackerel. One of my favorite.
That's a black pollock. Pollock.
So the Atlantic mackerel, very different from the mackerel we get down in Florida. But we'll get a close up of that in a second once the boys are done checking it out. I don't know. Captain Johnny's making this all look bad. All right. All right. Captain Jonny, I think you got the hot spot back there. All right. Clams is on the board. We got one. Look at the color on the back of that. Mackerel are actually one of my favorite, absolute favorite. So very similar to what we call Boston mackerel up in New York, but just gorgeous. Let's try to catch some more.
This is the biggest mackerel.
That's the biggest one. Who caught that one?
First.
All right. Ah.
And these two.
Look at the color on those, huh?
Yeah, this one's a good color.
All right. I got a pollock. This one, not too bad. You know. Let's take a look at him here. Absolutely beautiful fish. So pollock is going to be similar to cod, haddock, hake. They're in the Lididae family, so it's going to be white, flaky meat. Absolutely beautiful fish. That was right on the drop. Oh! All right.
Don't let them escape!
All right, 3 more mackerel. We're on the fish now. Captain Johnny's put us on them. We're doing good. All right, we're on the mackerel. We got a pollock, white hake, a black hake. We're doing good. Well, we're down to 3 spots. We got a pollock and some mackerel. A few mackerel, a good amount of mackerel. I'm always torn with to grab the camera or reel in the fish, and I've made the mistake many times to grab the camera and then you lose the fish. This one, I stayed on the fish, so sorry if the footage is a little bit jumpy, but my gosh, look at this scenery. Unreal, unreal. One of the most beautiful places I've ever been, and definitely some of the most fun fishing. Very similar to that of Boston or the Northeast, but great time, really great time. Yeah.
Is it working?
It's working.
Is it not taking it off me? Is it, I hope?
No, that's perfect.
I hope you can reel it!
This one's a little bit big, so.
Big one.
That's not work! The work! The work!
They hit like a bus and then they kind of go.
I knew the bird work!
There we go. We got 2.
Wow.
All right, watch.
Back it up and catch the swivel.
Great! Oh my god!
All right. There we go. All right, the pollock, yeah? The pollock are coming up and over. That was a twofer. There we go. I thought I had a very large fish, but it turned out to be 2. Not bad. We're in them. We're at a good spot. Mackerel are coming over. Kids are losing it. Captain Johnny putting them on us. Putting us on them. Who caught the biggest fish?
Daddy,
Daddy, which one?
this one. No,
That one? Okay. You guys have your stories a little bit conflicting. Did you catch a fish?
belongs to the capt.
Yeah. Did you guys release fish? You helped me release one? Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Excellent job, guys. Well, that was a beautiful day on the water. We filled the cooler with pollock and Atlantic mackerel. Great day. Thank you very much. Captain John.
Welcome.
It was an excellent day on the Western Kingfisher. Really, just a great day. The 3 little boys behind me had a great day, and we're going home with a bunch of fish. You can't beat this backdrop to fish to. Even if we caught nothing, I think that would have been just an incredible, incredible day on the water. Captain John said, you know, it's not normal that it's this calm out, so I got lucky on that one. But what a day. So when I got off the boat, Captain John said to head into the bar Oliver's and take a look on the wall and look for the 9.5-foot fish and the 5-foot tall man, and that's him. So I found the picture.
No, sorry about that. It's just unreal.
So it's a very interesting story to that picture is that he was arrested immediately after taking that picture. We'll go more into that later. All right, so my sister is manning the grill.
Terribly.
Terribly? Look at that fire. We're gonna grill the mackerel whole, and then the pollock we're gonna pan sear. I got a little bit of blood pudding. Blood pudding, if you don't know, it is either pig or beef blood that is then mixed with oats and barley and made into kind of like a sausage. So we're gonna pan sear that, and then I went foraging. If you circle back to the first Ireland episode, the woman Sinead taught us about the sea radish and sea spinach, and I grabbed some of that to go with this meal. So once we get the coals going, I'm actually gonna go inside and fillet the pollock now. I have a very, very blunt knife and a very mushy fish, so I might spare you the filleting process, but we'll get there. Oh wow, this knife is very bad. Oof. Well, the blunt knife came in handy for something, and that was skinning the fish. That's about it. But otherwise, filleting was not so easy. There we go. There's our Irish pollock fillet. Absolutely beautiful. That is a beautiful piece of fish.
Yeah, it is.
No bloodline. Very little. So these guys, these grow anywhere from 4 to 35 pounds. This was about, I don't know, I would put it at about 5 pounds. All right, so the first ingredient that I want to talk about that I'm going to use is blood pudding, or black sausage, right? It's also called black sausage. I mentioned earlier outside, so it's pig's blood or beef blood mixed with a little bit of fat, some oats, barley. It's really, it sounds horrible, but it's one of the best things, and it has a very unique flavor. So it is mixed with a little bit of cinnamon sometimes. And this one in particular, there's a butcher shop here, and they make it and then smoke it. So I'm gonna sear this and then put it underneath our pollock. So it's gonna be a really nice mixture of flavors. So we'll cut this into little discs, and a little bit of this goes a very long way. And then I have Irish rapeseed oil. Rapeseed? Rapeseed? Rapeseed. I couldn't tell you what it tastes like or what it's like, but I saw it in the store, and since we're in Ireland, it doesn't have much of a taste at all, which is good. So a little bit of that. Now the other thing that I'm gonna get going is this here. And this is part of this plant here. Now, if you circle back to the first episode in this Ireland series, we went to a coastal forage little tour, and she told us about this, and it's actually called sea radish. The entire plant is edible. These are the leaves. There's little seed pods here, and then the flowers. The flowers are absolutely incredible raw. They're really, really nice. And it has a peppery, kind of arugula horseradish flavor, but the leaves are particularly strong. So what I'm gonna do with the leaves is take a little bit of butter and then chop these up and put them in with my butter. And I'm gonna melt that down, let that cook down, and the flavor from those leaves are gonna permeate through the butter, and then I'm gonna pour the butter over our pollock once it's ready. So now my Irish Atlantic pollock, these are so beautiful, and if you know the channel, you know I've kept the head, the collars, the rack, and everything we're gonna make broth out of that, but for our own personal use, not for the episode. It is a treat for me to actually get to cook with fillets once in a while. So with these, because they are so perfect and so delicate, I'm not gonna do much to them. All I'm gonna do is salt, pepper, we're gonna pan sear them and lay them over our blood sausage. So a little bit of our rapeseed oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Oh, take the cap off the pepper. Now, one of the tricks to pan searing fish, one, these fish were patted dry, so they're nice and dry. When you put them in the pan, do exactly what I'm doing here to make sure that they're coated in oil. And that will help with the fish sticking. And now that went seasoned side down. So now just lightly season this side to get it ready for our flip. And now the blood sausage, you just want it a little bit toasty. That's looking good, still needs a little more time. That's good. It's very, very subtle, not overpowering, because if you watch that video and you watch us all taste it, it got you. It was really peppery. So the way that I like to pan cook fish, I rarely put it into the oven if I have a fillet. What I like to do is cook it almost all the way through on one side and then flip it over. So I'll wait until just the very center is still raw. Since we're in Ireland and the land of the Kerrygold, just a little bit of butter in there. Now, another reason that I like to do this is exactly what I was saying. Pollock is a lot like cod, haddock, trying to think of other fish like it, but cod and haddock being the main ones. And as you know, it doesn't have a ton of fat on it. It is a very, very flaky white fish. I would even compare it to a thicker flounder. So the chances of overcooking it are pretty good. So that's why I like to cook it this way. I can see where it's almost cooked through, then flip it over, and that way I know it's getting just the right amount of cook on it. And I can also tell right now that those fillets are perfectly stuck to this pan, so that should be enjoyable to try to flip them over. You know, not having your own tools sometimes can really do you dirty. So cod, pollock, and haddock are usually a fish that is baked, not pan-seared, or a fish used in fish and chips. And one of the reasons why is exactly what's happening here. When it cooks through, because there's not a lot of fat, it just flakes apart, which makes it one of the best fish to eat. But it's a fish that the less you handle it, the better. But I really wanted to pan sear it, so I'm okay with this. But it is delicate. Okay. Then here I have my brown butter sea radish. So we'll pour that. And then I'm going to add a couple of the flowers of the sea radish. Like I said, they also had that really, really nice radish peppery flavor to them. So a couple of those.
My fish fell off.
That fish is just disintegrating in my mouth.
Yeah, that's what made it hard to keep it together in the pan. It is a delicate fish.
And the flavor, I'm going to use the word again, is subtle.
Yeah.
Very good. Extremely good.
What do you think, Jen?
I love how it's paired with the blood sausage. So like the spiciness of the blood sausage with the subtlety of the fish is delicious. That's a nice contrast. And then you get a little flour, a little crunch, which is wonderful.
So pollock to me, it's subtle. I don't want to say flavorless because that's not the right word, but it is so subtle that if you hated fish, pollock is the fish for you. That's the one. But, ooh, you would think the blood sausage would overpower it. It doesn't, because even the blood sausage has minimal seasoning in it. It's not overpowering. All right, we're gonna eat this one, and then we're getting to the mackerel. All right, so this is what is called turf. I don't know if you can get a real good. So it is literally a piece of the earth. They cut them up here and then dry them out. And as you're driving down the road, you'll see these black bricks. And it's what everyone burns inside their homes to keep warm. And it has one of the most amazing smells. Now, if any of you have been to Ireland, you know the minute you smell this, it's like you're here. It's really, but it makes amazing coals. So we're gonna add this to our wood. All kinds of smoke in my face, but we'll add that to our wood. When that burns down, that's what we're gonna cook our mackerel on. So we'll be back here hopefully soon, hopefully before it's dark. So these are my Atlantic mackerel. They've obviously lost some of that blue-green color that they had on the boat, but they're still such a gorgeous fish. So these are gonna be a little bit like sardine, herring. Some people stay away from them. They're a bit of a bloody fish. They definitely have a fishy taste to them, but it's good. It's not a bad thing. I gutted them and took out the gills. All I did was just go with your thumb, rip out the gills and the guts. So they're good to go. I have 4 of them here, and all I'm gonna do is a little bit of our oil. And salt and pepper. Just make sure that those are coated, and rub the inside of them too to get that salt and pepper on the inside. Okay, I'm gonna put these aside, and then I'm gonna get a little bit of garnish ready for the top of them when they come off the grill. So this is sea spinach, and this is something else I foraged going back to that first episode in this series, what Sinead showed us. And it's also called sea beet, and from what she was saying, it is the ancestor of the spinach that we know now. So it's really cool. It has a sweet flavor and a definite salty flavor. So I'm not chopping it up like crazy. And before anyone dings me in the comments for any of these knives or anything, we are in the middle of Ireland and I'm working with what I have, so be aware. With this, it has a good salt content. I'm just gonna add a tiny bit to it. And then lemon juice and a little bit of herbes de Provence. And mix that up, and that's it. And then this is just gonna go next to our mackerel, because like I said, that mackerel does have a very strong fish taste, and this will be a really nice fresh taste on top of it. So I gave those guys a flip. Lost a little bit of skin on them, but that's okay. All the flavor is going to be in there. That skin is really delicate on those guys. Gonna pull them off, dress them up. They were only on there about maybe 2.5, 3 minutes each side, and that's it. These look perfect. I'm excited. Let's get them inside. All right, so we have our sea spinach, a little bit of lemon on top.
The sea greens are so good. And the mackerel is really great. It does not taste like turf. And it's not even that like fishy. It's just, I mean, it's fishy, but it's meaty.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the crispness of the sea greens complements it really well.
First of all, I think this is the first time I've had mackerel not out of a can. So it's a first for me, an experience, and I didn't know what to expect. But the meat of the mackerel is very succulent.
Yeah.
And I'm tasting a sweetness.
Yeah.
It's really good.
All right. I'm just gonna be a savage and take a piece off of here. Ooh. That's the thing too about the mackerel, is that the flesh is white. It just has a pretty prominent bloodline. But I love herring. I love sardines. They're in the same family. And when you get them fresh like this, they're not overly fishy, but they are an oily fish. So it's going to taste like fish. If you're not a fish lover, this is not for you. But the sea greens really brighten it up and give it a little bit more texture. The texture on a fish like mackerel, it's a soft fish also. So it's kind of nice to add that texture with the crunchy sea spinach. All right. We are going to let my sister's husband eat in peace, not on camera. If you notice in these 3 episodes, he wasn't on there, but he was with us. But he's a little camera shy. So if you like this episode, hit like, hit subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you from Ireland. This was a really, really fun trip, and it was fun to get to show you guys some of the scenery. There was a lot more to it, but I wanted to enjoy some of my vacation, so I showed you a little bit. We'll see you on the next one.